I'm Patrick Smith.
I'm Joe Quirk.
Joe Quirk.
Yes.
And you are with?
The Seasteading Institute and Ocean Builders, also Blue Frontiers.
And I watched your presentation in the main hall, and out of all the presentations I've seen here, it was the most exciting. You are literally creating new pockets of liberty in the world where they couldn't exist before. Can you tell us about that?
Well, nearly half the Earth's surface is unclaimed by any nation state. And we can totally go out there and be pioneers on this blue frontier. And the Seasteading Institute has always been about creating thousands of startup societies on the sea that could float around and people choose what they want. And it's a technology for voluntary societies. And the first one is floating on the ocean right now. And 2 or 3 people are living on it, depending on how you look at it. And they're called Ocean Builders. And they're a brand new company. And they're eager for neighbors, and they're eager to sell more. And the first bare bones one costs about 150,000 US dollars. So go to Ocean Builders and see if you want to buy the second or third or fourth seastead. We're looking at timeshares and any ways to build this community up.
So you said in your talk that you're looking for the first 21 buyers. Have you had any sales yet?
We might have just had one. We've had 2 or 3 pledges. We've had maybe 40 people write in saying they want one and want to learn more. We had maybe 14 people sign up to have a timeshare. And this is, less than 24 hours since it was announced. Nobody knows about this except this conference, and it's going to go public very soon. So I think the demand is going to do a J-curve.
Absolutely. So you dropped some videos that you said the world had not seen yet, and have they been released to the world as of right now?
They have not been released to the world yet.
Okay, so I still have private information. This is awesome. When will they be dropped? Because I'd love to roll them in this video while we're talking.
Yeah, let's do it. I think the first one is finished and will be episode 1 of the first Seasteaders is ready to go out next week when I get back to San Francisco. Then I'll start quickly editing together episode 2 and 3. And you saw an early version of the concluding episode, which is when they actually get the seastead up. This is never going to stop. This reality TV show is going to keep going. What's it like to run the BioRock experiment? What's it like to fish? What's it like to deal with the water maker and the desalinization? How do you build the second one? How do you deal with your neighbors? The story is going to go and go and go. This is the beginning of civilization.
Another awesome term. So so if I purchased one now, would it need to be in that same location next to the others, or could I pick anywhere in the world that was?
You could probably pick anywhere in the world. You'd have to transport it there. They're building it in Phuket, Thailand, and then towing them out. So they're encouraging people to live near them because they want neighbors. But you could do it anywhere you want. I mean, they'll probably manufacture a seastead. You just have to pay to transport it now to some other location. But we want these to proliferate all over the world.
It's so cool. It's so many people in our Dallas community of voluntarists are constantly talking about and trying to find a place that we can all go to rather than the long game is to raise your kids better so that they expect a peaceful world so that when they grow up, they'll maybe help eliminate government a little bit faster. That's a very long game. And they're like, well, what if I want to be free in my life? Where can we go? And I always joke with one of the guys, well, we could just go in the middle of the ocean as kind of like a facetious, comeback to him. But now he's going to be laughing at me because that's literally what we can do. So it's a giant column of metal with a lot of weight at the bottom that I guess serves as ballast, would you call it?
Yes.
For the house that is kind of perched at top, right?
Yes, you get it. Okay. So it's very counterintuitive to land folk that you can get a perfectly stable pillar in the ocean where the waves are doing this and it stays still. And that is if you put a lot of ballast, sand, weight at the bottom, it floats like a wine bottle. Then there's a little tiny house sitting on top of it. That house floats as well, but it's not stable in waves. So even if the spar, say, it blew up and sank or something, the seastead would just float.
So it's like a pin where all the weight's down at the sharp end of the pin and the head of the pin sticks out just a little bit above the water with the house on top of it. The cement wrap for what was that called?
Coralcrete.
Okay.
So it was it's like the Wolf Hilbert's process. It's called BioRock. And it's a way of putting a mesh in the water, and you can run an electrical current through it. And over time, you basically grow a little seashell thing, just like you're a lobster. And it's basically calcium carbonate. But if you run the NASA engineer who's designing the seastead has developed a new technique where he's growing this coralcrete much more quickly, and they're sort of using the steel spar in sort of in the method. So they're going to grow basically coral around the spar, which will encase it in this coral and make it last more than a century at sea. This will also be creating an ecosystem out there because animals and plants attach to it. Out there on the deep ocean, there's very little life, but it's a fish aggregation device. And then they start breeding on the thing and they stay there. So you essentially have a fish cage with no cage, a fish farm with no cage. So the animals just stay there. And already dolphins are visiting them almost every day.
So I understand a lot of the other facets like water desalination and stuff like that. I'm curious how internet works because you said that this first family, assuming family, couple, whatever, that are doing this have really solid internet out in the middle of the ocean. How do they get that?
Well, they get it through a satellite. They're both Bitcoin entrepreneurs. And they both, just now, I had them dial in at lunch and have a conversation with people at the table, answering questions. Yeah, they were just talking to people directly. And when I introduced them to my seasteading crew, they came in on a big screen and we're just talking to everybody for an hour answering questions. So their internet is flawless. Seasteads have to solve...
Expensive, I assume, though?
Not at all. And I think it's 10 to 20 MPS per second or whatever. It's like better than what I get, near Silicon Valley, actually.
Are you planning on having one for yourself? When?
As soon as they get dogs, I think I can convince my wife to move out there. Also, she runs a business in California, so it's hard to get her to move.
And are there bigger? How big is the one that they start? How big is the one that they started with? And are there going to be larger ones that maybe you could have grass or a yard or something?
So the excellent thing about this pilot is it's the minimal viable product for seasteads. So it's not very large. I think it's 1,000 square feet. I actually forget, but it's it's the size of a living room. It's the size of a kitchen. Then they have a roof where you can go up there and be beneath the solar panels and 360-degree view. You can't see any land. You see sunset. You see sunrise. But then if that little thing can be stable, you can go to any size. You can add 4 spars and get a big city. They're already talking about one that's going to be much deeper and much larger. So they're already designing. They want to create underwater aquarium apartments.
So like you build down, like take a skyscraper, you made that analogy, flip it upside down and you can like build living quarters and livable space underwater then. Yes. As part of the weight, as part of the ballast even?
Yes. Gravity, everything about living on the sea requires us to flip our assumptions. So on the sea, gravity is your friend. You don't build skyscrapers, you build sea scrapers. And the deeper you go, the more stable your sea scraper is. If you get really low, you start to get into some pressure problems. But the first couple floors, you can have people down there. Much further floors than that, you can have storage space. So there's all sorts of ideas for creating. Basically, you're looking at your window at an aquarium, and something solid like that on the high seas naturally attracts fish to attach to it. Mollusks and all sorts of life attached to anything solid on the water. So everything about it, people talk about sustainability. This is beyond sustainable. This is environmentally restorative. The more seasteads you build, the more life you increase on the ocean.
Because you're creating more coral space, which allows for more life to kind of grow around it. Is that is it self-sufficient in food, or do they have to make trips to get food and I guess they have to get supplies from shore at some point, right?
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job of being self-sufficient. A lot of fishing. They're growing their own seaweed. They're also trading with fishermen that are coming up to them.
Really?
Yes. So, but all societies prosper through trade. Self-sufficiency is never the way to go. So seasteads prosper by providing a unique service you can't get on land, and then trading for the things they need. So you can do cryptocurrency things. They want to bring in barges from China that won't take tariffs from Thailand. You might have noticed the video. I was using a drone to film them. Well, drones are illegal in Thailand. Uh-oh. I can do it out on the sea, though. We're outside their jurisdiction. Okay. This stuff goes on and on and on. So all the things you can do by starting your own country give you That's what this is. Yes. This is starting your own country. Levi Strauss wrote a book called Start Your Own Country. Huge influence on seasteaders.
Have the first seasteaders named their country?
Exley.
Exley is the name of the country.
Yes. And I'll explain what that means. It's the Roman numeral XLII, which is 42,
The answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Exactly. The answer to life, the universe, and everything, and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That is awesome. And now I'm going to not be able to stop thinking about what I would name my country. Just that's so cool. Can we come visit? Like, I would love to go do a documentary series traveling there to see them and experience this. And are they there full time now?
Yes, they're there full time. They come to shore once in a while to get stuff, but they're living on the seastead. And if you contact them and say, I talked to Joe at Anarchapulco, I'd like to come visit you, they will sail in and get you and bring you out. I mean, this is the audience they want to reach. Go to oceanbuilders.com, contact them, or you can contact me, Joe Quirk at Seasteading. And they're if you're interested in doing a timeshare to buy a seastead, they would definitely like to talk to you, bring you out, put you up, show you what it's like, talk to you about what your hopes and dreams are and what your models would be. And we have Aquatex ready to build. We can make it much more fabulous.
I know several people right now that would be interested in that information. Can you tell them where to find it? Or you already said the websites.
It's about 12 miles off the coast of Phuket, Thailand, and it's ocean.builders. Fill out the contact form, and there's a really good fact there. Also, follow Ocean Builders on Facebook. They're always answering questions because there's so many questions, and they're just answering them. And we need to compile all these and put it together.
That is so awesome. Thank you for taking time with me today, sir. I appreciate
Thanks for a great interview. I wish they were all like this.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Thank you.